What about the mic? Oh, so this is mic.
This is the mic. I'm told it's a very
Sound
fancy.
is okay?
Okay, lovely. Are we rolling? So, hi Srini, good to see you.
Hi.
Srini is the name.
Yeah, thanks. Nice.
So good to see you. And how's it going? All good? Lovely. Welcome to Talkies. Welcome to IAA Voice of Change.
Thank you. It's been a fantastic event and it's lovely to be here and actually meet a lot of old friends as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice about it. How's it going with WPP? All good, rolling. You have an office in the costliest real estate now of India to a great extent, Gurgaon and all. So you must be doing well.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. We've been expanding, our scale and our investments in India over the last few years. India has today continued to play a very important role for WPP, not just in terms of being a growth engine for the parent company, but increasingly a lot of the transformation is being driven out of India for the parent company, given the kind of talent pool that we have here. So that's the other part that's keeping all of us very excited.
That's right. So, coming more specifically to Voice of Change, what's your view on taking the IAA Voice of Change bigger and deeper? By deeper, I mean, outside of the metros into more areas, and it does make a difference, right?
Yeah.
Getting to what's your view on that?
Yeah. Firstly, I must compliment IAA for coming up with an initiative like this and keeping it going and strengthening it from year to year. I think they've done a fantastic job. This is the third edition of the Voice of Change. So kudos to them. IAA, of course, is one of the most active advisory bodies, and if they do something, they really put their heart and mind into it. And it's lovely that they're taking up this challenge. See, this is a topic where how much ever we do, it's not enough. I think it's a topic where it's forever going to be WIP, because there's so much of change we need to bring in, not just as companies and as industry bodies, but overall as society, right? So I think all of these are steps in the right direction. Obviously, the conclave today is focusing on content and focusing on the kind of behavior change, whether it's advertising content or movies or whatever can bring about, which is all extremely relevant. It's good to see these conversations happening, and it's also good to see some change happening overall in the industry as well.
Absolutely. So, coming specifically to WPP, how do you foster innovation and inclusivity at WPP across genders, across classes, across peoples? Do you consciously do that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we are in the business of creativity. I mean, our core product is creativity at the end of the day. And I think one is obviously the kind of people that we attract or try to attract into our company to kind of work with clients, generate ideas that can, at the end of the day, build brands, create movements, etc.
Yeah.
One of the things we've been able to do pretty successfully is, given that we're a pretty large conglomerate, we have multiple agencies within WPP. One of the things that's worked for us is to actually create communities. Because when you create communities, you get people across different levels of the organization to kind of start interacting a lot more freely with each other.
Yeah.
So to give you a few examples, we've created a community for women leadership mentoring in India. Until date, we mentored over 500 women leaders across WPP companies, and it's been running for over 6 years. We similarly have a community for the LGBTQ plus champions as well. And most recently, we also created what we call the People Forum, which is almost like a shadow board, which has got colleagues drawn up from across, again, different levels of the organization.
Yes.
Through which we get a lot of useful insight and input, which you would normally not get through an online survey.
That's right.
Which we can then take back to the management, wherever we need to make a policy intervention or whatever else. So I think creating communities really helped, especially in a pretty large conglomerate, to kind of ensure everyone's kind of working together and working for the right causes.
Yeah. So when it comes more specifically to advertising, do you see any conscious efforts in advertising toward breaking the bias?
Yes, I think there have been quite a few. I was just speaking to someone earlier. There are several examples. If you look at brands and if you look at the way communication around, the advertising space has evolved in the last 10, 12 years, I think firstly, today there's a clear recognition amongst brand owners, which is the real starting point, that, if you're a brand owner, there is I would say, a very, very thin line between, what you can do to kind of grow your brand and where you can kind of falter. And consumers, unlike maybe 20 years ago, all have a voice. Everyone's onto social media. And within a few minutes of something going wrong, you have like a ton of bricks coming down on you. So I think everyone's, firstly aware of that, and hence to do good and to ensure that you're staying within a defined and acceptable norm is something which is pretty much getting to be a part of the guideline itself. And I think that then helps us as agencies, because we basically build on the brand idea, we come up with creativity, etc. So I would say this realization across the spectrum has kind of helped. Then of course there are other things that are happening at the side which are helping. For example, AASKI, which is the Advertising Standards Council of India,
Yes.
Working with Stereotype, Reliance, etc., relooking at the advertising code. Then you have forums like this where the IAA creates, where they get people together to have debates and discussions. So yeah, all moving in the right direction.
Okay, so
Of course, lots more to be done.
I will ask you a question, and I'll ensure we don't take names so neither one of us gets killed. Right? I'm hugely against advertising or surrogate advertising to a great extent. We've got some 2-3 big stars selling tobacco, surrogate, right? I don't want to name them, we don't want to get killed, right? What's your view? Why would someone do that? Yeah, I mean, if I was an agency, I would have said, no, man, I'm not pulling this off. If I was a star, I wouldn't do it. I mean, what is this greed that humanity, and I'm not talking to you as WPP, I'm talking to you as a human to a human, right? Why would you do it? I mean, and stars are brands and stars are people who we follow, we endorse, right? And when we see them, isn't that
this is
responsible for all of this?
Yeah, this is a debate that's been going on forever actually, and all that I can say is there are two schools of thought, and you can leave it to your viewers to figure out which school of
I
thought.
spoke to one of them. Sorry to cut you, but I spoke to one of them, and he said, "Listen, if I didn't do it, someone else would do it."
Yeah.
Oh man, I wouldn't kill you, then someone else would kill you.
But coming to the two schools of thought, which I wanted to just elaborate. One is to say that anything which is legally allowed to be marketed and sold,
How do you
can be kind of promoted, right? So that's one school of thought.
Fair enough.
There's another school of thought which says that, just the points that you've raised. So I think you should leave it to the viewers to decide.
No, I think it's a fair point. It's a good alibi. Why is it legal in the first place?
Yeah.
Why is it legal in the first place? Because that's where the taxation comes from. Anyway, different topic. Role of AI. AI is hot. People are worried and scared about AI, right? So my belief that people won't lose, and I tell a lot of young entrepreneurs or young people within our system that you won't lose your job to AI, but you'll definitely lose your job to someone who understands how to use AI. Your view, Srini?
That's very true. I don't think there's anything to panic. If anything, I think AI is probably going to do two things. One is it's going to create a lot of new kind of jobs, new kind of opportunities. And number two, I think it's going to take a lot of the drudgery, out of a lot of jobs. So look at it this way. I think if the entire, let's say, humankind can move up the value chain, then actually it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, provided we are conscious about how we use it. And there's a leading hardware manufacturer presenting, can't name them again. I met them in Taipei 2 weeks back. A lot of your friends were all there. And they presented that they've come out with this fantastic technology where you've got these goggles, and the moment you blink, the goggles clicks a picture. And everyone's saying, wow, great. And I was like, oh my God, that's going to be a disaster, right? So we've got to be a little conscious on how AI is used and how tech is used.
Absolutely.
Your advice to a lot of people and a lot of young people in B schools and media schools on life in general, like what gets them to do well? One, there is no shortcut to life. No shortcut. Right?
Firstly, I keep saying this. I think we're all blessed to be living in India, first and foremost, because India is a land of opportunity.
But with the pollution in Delhi, you're blessed to be living, right?
It doesn't really matter. I think we're a land of opportunity at the end of the day, and there are so many new avenues which are opening up today.
Yeah.
Stay focused, and don't worry if you falter at the start of your career or even midway through, because you can always bounce back. So don't stress out on anything. This is too much to be enjoyed in life. So just take each day as it comes.
Yes, it's lovely chatting up, Srini.
Thank you.
As you said, rightly said, it's blessed to be alive. And cheers to that, and good to meet up, and let's stay connected. Cheers, and thank you for being part of Voice of Change. Thank you for being part of Talkies.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Thank you.